I'm Madison, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very weird reading vlog I'm going to be doing. So I have decided to delve into the Omegaverse. Now the reason why I'm delving into it is because I came across a book the other day and it said that one of the kinks in it was knotting. And I sat there and I go, what's that? And that's how I found out more about the Omegaverse. I don't really want to sit here and explain what knotting is because I still don't actually know what it is. I had friends of mine who have read Omegaverse books be like, you should read some Omegaverse books. And I go, okay. This vlog is going to be me trying Omegaverse. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to try a bunch of different Omegaverse or if I'm just going to maybe binge read Lola and the Millionaires because I know that's like a whole Omegaverse series. I hope it's going to be hilarious. I will be explaining things to you as I learn them because I literally know nothing about the Omegaverse, like nothing at all. It'll be a fun experience for you and let's get into it. Okay, so some research has been... Zelda, are you serious right now? Some research has been done. I'm going to tell you right now. So the Omegaverse is an alternate universe where humans have specific designation in a hierarchy based on their biology. Either an alpha, a beta, or an omega. Alphas tend to be aggressives, betas are the closest to everyday humans, and omegas tend to be the softest and most gentle. Omegas don't hold positions of power, they are like homemakers. Alphas hold positions of authority, they increase the pack's wealth and the dominance. And omegas go through heat, which makes them the most fertile at those times. Okay. I decided I'm going to start with Baby and the Late Night Howlers because it's book 1 in Kathryn Moon's Sweetverse, which is her version of her Omegaverse. We'll see how this goes.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
I am learning. So in this, we're following Baby. Baby, I can't believe her name is Baby. Baby was a beta for 26 years. Normally, if you're going to be an omega, which is a very, very small fraction of the population, it like comes out of you, like this perfumey scent, your scent of being an omega happens normally like puberty, early 20s. Very, very few people it happens to after that age. She's 26, it happens to her and she's like, well, shit, did not expect this to happen. And now she's in danger because she doesn't have a pack because her whole life has just been as a beta, which means you're not in trouble from anyone around you. You're not in trouble basically of an alpha finding you and then like being like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm gonna like insert myself into you and mate you and claim you as my omega. That came out great. It's gonna be hard to talk about this without it getting like super sexual because that's like what this is. Anyway, so she is like, oh my god, what do I do? And she's like at this bar and she's like, I can't even move an inch because they realize I'm an omega here, I'm gonna be like attacked. And so this guy like sees her and comes up to her and is like, hey, what is going on? And she's like, I need to get out of here. And he's like, I will help you get out. And he's a beta, so he helps her get out of the bar. So my guess is like she's gonna end up with this like mystery dude's pack. Also at the very beginning of this, you realize Lola is Baby's best friend and Lola is a beta. So yeah, this is all very interesting. Okay, so it's like one giant reverse harem. I'm like 15% in now. I'm liking it. I am liking it because it's also been ages since I've read any MM or MMMMMF stuff as well, and like that's what I'm gonna get from this, which has been ages and I think about it because I used to read them quite often. Omegaverse doesn't mean shifters, they are humans. They just have like different biology stuff. They're like altered humans, I'm guessing is like kind of what I'm figuring out. It's really cool, it's like really interesting. It definitely, like I'm hoping that the sex part of this doesn't like overshadow everything. Like that's kind of what I'm worried about because everything is talking about sex and how it pertains to everything and like the heat, being in heat, wanting this craving, this perfuming and blah, 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 blah stuff. I'm just hoping that this doesn't like become too sex focused. But honestly, like low key, I mean, I don't blame her friend Lola from being like, I wish I was an omega, because if you're an omega, you get treated like a queen. Oh my god, you get like a little nest area, you have like your own bedroom with like a fancy bed and like anything you want. they will get for you. You're like a princess. At the moment in this one with Baby, I really like Bomber. His name is Seth. Because this is also an MC. Her pack is an MC. Seth's like a boo-boo. He's a beta and he's a babe and a half. I'm totally digging him. But yeah, we'll see. There's like 6 alphas though that she's like into. And like, I don't know, 6 is quite large for a reverse harem for me. I've not really dealt with that before. So I don't know how you can keep track of that many men. But I'll try.
Okay, so I am currently 60% into Baby in Late Night Howlers, and I want to update this point because it is freaking hilarious. This current scene is when Bullet takes them all to his place, and I'm like, this, if you've read this scene is so funny. I love this so much. I love Bullet so much. I love all the guys so freaking much, except for Cole. I don't like Cole. Out of the like 7 alphas that she has, I don't really like him, and we'll see how he plays out because he hasn't really been that prominent. He's kind of like a bit of a shitty alpha, in my opinion. But I love all these dynamics. It's very interesting because like, oh my god, so this scene is just so fun to me. But it's definitely not as like, how do I put this? I've read a nodding scene. I've read 2 nodding scenes since I updated you guys, and it really like hasn't been like as bad as I thought it was gonna be. Like for some reason I thought that like nodding scenes were gonna be like kind of gross, but like it's not. And like it has to do with like the anatomy. Like you can only, like an alpha can only knot with an omega because of the biology. Like they physically can't knot with like a beta or like an alpha. It's just not possible. And like a knot, oh, am I really gonna explain what this is on the internet? Probably. A knot is like a ring around the base of the thing. And like this ring, like, why am I explaining this? I want to do this because I feel like a lot of people might not know. The ring, you can't like get it in a person who isn't an omega because the ring won't fit inside anyone else's, but an omega, their area is made for that to go into it. Does that make sense? Anyway, and then it's like there's like this whole thing also called like alpha rutting, and like rutting is like when the alpha like lets go like after nutting. It's like part of it, it's like rutting. And then there's also like the bonding, and the bonding is when the alpha bites the omega and like claims them as like theirs. And like until you've done that, like the omega isn't claimed, like if the omega isn't claimed, like it makes like, you know, there's like turf wars and stuff because like she can still be claimed by like any pack, which is like a whole problem right now. So now I've explained that, and I can tell you that like it's really like I've read those scenes now and they're like fine. I thought they were going to be like really weird and gross and like just strange because like when I originally read that Reddit post about what nutting is, I was like, this sounds really gross, but like it's not. So like, you know, the more you know, it's not that bad. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking about this right now because I don't want to. I'm going to get my nails done later, so I've got like a bit left in this book. I want to try and get this done before I have to go do that. So I'll keep you guys updated as I think of all the different guys. I will admit the only thing I do have to say is that like it has taken me, like I'm still trying to grasp all the guys because they have their like regular names and then they have their like MC code names because they're also a motorcycle club as well as a pack, and that's really confusing trying to remember who is who. Like Tornado he has a different name, and like Jonah, his name is Scorch. Seth, his current name is Bomber. And then there's Green, and like I forget half of their like that's something that's confusing me. Okay, see you guys up later. Bye. Okay, so wow, I look like I literally just woke up and I've just been reading. Anyway, I look sexy, but just got to my first bonding scene, and it was like it was so good. Oh my god, the bonding scene was like done so well, and you don't have to bite the neck specifically to be bonded to your alpha. You can like bite anywhere, but it's like really interesting. It's almost like a bonding of like the souls, so like you kind of share more emotions and stuff with one another, which is really interesting. So like that's a whole really cool part of it. And like the person that she bonded with first makes total sense. Like it wasn't who I would have thought like when I first had this book, but like it makes sense now. And I just love them all so much, like all the conversations. And then after she bonds with this person, the dude's just sitting there like with his coffee in a damn china teacup. This big buff dude is like, yeah, I bonded with her. Oh, this is so much fun. It's way more fun than I was expecting it to be. Also, there's another pack they met at one point, and it had an alpha female as the alpha and an omega dude. And my question now is like how does the nodding work if it's an omega dude and an alpha female? I don't want to Google that, but I feel like I might because I'm like kind of curious because like the parts are switched, but like what?
Okay, I am like 13% into Lola and the Millionaires, and I'll talk about Being the Night Howlers later, but I immediately started it afterwards, and this book is literally breaking me into like thousands of pieces right now. It's not even funny. I am like I've almost cried 4 times in these first 13% because, and I don't get how there are people who are reading Lola and the Millionaires without first reading Baby in the Night Howlers, because you do not understand the level of Lola's trauma and PTSD and her panic attacks until you've read that, and it just makes it all the more worse. And everything she's going through, I just understand on a whole other level, and the way that she's got her PTSD on a whole another level, and like the way that she's dealing with everything is just, it's attacking me so deep in my bones, and I was not expecting this from an Omegaverse book ever, and I just wanted to put that out there because I'm already like in love with this and in love with Lola, and just there's a lot of reasons why I'm loving this, and I don't want to get into it personally because I don't feel like sharing that, but yeah, I just want to mention that before I continue on because I just want to get this out because I feel like I'm about to devour the crap out of this book. So yes. Sorry, I've been filming all day, so I just finally finished filming TikToks and YouTube videos and everything, and just took off my makeup, so finally had the time to like sit down and come talk to you guys. So I got 50% into Lola and the Millionaires last night. Oh my god, this book is like literally ruining me from the inside. It is like so heartbreaking. This is also a bit different because like I said, this is a duet. I genuinely feel like everyone who did not read Baby in the Late Night Howlers beforehand did themselves such a disservice because like, sure, like she doesn't play like a huge role in this, but like the reason for Lola's trauma is because of what happens in the first book. So, you know, and like they don't take the time to explain a lot of like what the Omegaverse, like the Sweetverse is in this one. So that's just my own personal opinion, but this book literally, like I am like flying through it. It is like breaking my heart and I'm loving it so much, and all the guys in it, oh my god, like, oh, it's so interesting because like the pack that Lola is getting involved with they're all millionaires, okay? And they're all dudes. So it's 5 guy alphas plus 1 beta and 1 omega. And the mega's a guy, the alphas are guys. I'm really curious because like no one's really gone into like the process of like the whole, like how nodding works if it's a male omega and a male alpha, and like how it works if it's like a female alpha and a male omega. Like no one's gone into like how this all works. Like I need more I need more information on the biology, okay? Yeah, so I'm really loving it. It's so amazing, but it's basically Lola, she's terrified of alphas after what happens in the first book, and she's got a lot of PTSD and trauma from that. She's also a bit afraid of omegas for different reasons, and she's only comfortable around betas, and she ends up meeting this beta in like a beta only bar when the book starts off. They hit it off until she sees that this guy has been claimed by an alpha, and she's like, yeah, no, this is not okay, not happening. Then she starts a new job at this like magazine as like a beauty assistant, and is like living her life. It's still kind of traumatized, but she's trying to like finally get herself back on her feet. And it turns out that beta is actually the beta of like the magazine editor Alpha, and like all these other guys that she's like now around, like the Omega, who's like one of their main models for this beauty magazine, is like the Omega for this beta. And so she ends up having a relationship with this beta, but it's like, hey, I want to have a relationship with you, that's fine, but like I don't want to have anything to do with like your pack, like I can't do that mentally to myself. And he's like, that's fine, it's separate. Until the abuser from the first book ends up starting to text her again. He's like gone missing after the first book, so now she's had to seek solace with this pack. I'm just really loving it, and like it's definitely such a different dynamic than what you got from Baby's book, because Baby's an Omega. The way that she's treated by the guys is so different. The way that her relationship is with the guys is so different. It's a much more how do I put this? Like sexual, because like Omegas go into heat and Alphas react to the heat and like things like that. So this is definitely a lot more slower going. This is definitely a lot more plot focused. You do get a majority Lola's POV, but like every couple of chapters you'll get one of the guys' POVs, which is really nice. And it was the same situation with the Late Night Howlers, was you had a majority Baby's POV and then you switched every once in a while to like the different guys. So I really like that we do get to see the guys' POV, because it adds so much more to the story, and it's really interesting to see what they're all thinking and how they feel about Lola and how they're connected to her and how they're dealing with things. Yeah, that's my update. I wanted to update you guys while I could, because I just want to. Because I feel like once I start this up next, I'm probably going to finish it all at once. And so I was like, I should probably update you guys because whoops. So yeah.
Hello. Oh wow, this is a lot less lighting than I had expected. Let me try and move my Kindle closer to my face. There we go. I think that just made it worse. I had to come on because I haven't updated you guys in a hot sec. I have like an hour left of this book, but I had to come on because I just got to my first 5-way scene. Now, I'm sure I've read like a 5-way scene before. Like Thornchapel Quartet by Sarah Simone was like an orgy galore, but this is 4 dudes, 1 chick, and it's like during the Omega's heat, and she's like there as well. It is so amazingly like this. All the scenes in this, like I loved the ones in Baby, but the sex scenes in this one are like a whole nother level, my dude. It's also just like, it's also written in a way where like I'm not confused how anyone's like positioned. Like sometimes you read these like reverse harems and you're like, I don't understand how they all fit together, but this does make sense. Anyway, loving it. I've had a lot of my biology questions answered. It's also freaking hilarious. So many times I've laughed out loud, but you know, I'm going to save that all for tomorrow and not right now in the dark. So I'm going to go. Maybe I'll finish this. I really shouldn't. I should go to bed, but yeah. Hey, okay. So I want to do a quick update because I only have like 20 minutes left in the book. And I'm like, once this ends, it's going to be like a shit show and a half. And like, 'cause I already know, because like it's a duet. It always is going to end like one hell of a cliffhanger. So like I'm terrified because things have been going well. Things have been going really, really well. This book is so funny. I've laughed out loud so many times, and like if I wasn't lazy, like I would have like made so many clips of me just laughing at all the various things. It is priceless. The way that this group interacts can be so funny at times. I love it to death. And like I said, I got my biology question answered. So you know how I was like, oh, I don't get how everything works, like when it's all like different. Anyway, so Rake explained, because he's the male Omega, he was like, the way that it works normally is that male Omegas with female Alphas, because female Alphas have this thing called a lock. Now, I still don't actually understand what that visually looks like, because I'm trying to imagine a female's hoo-ha with something called a lock, and that sounds kind of weird, unless it's like something internal. So, but like, I don't want to also Google and look it up, but they did explain that that's how it works, and then you can also get like toys that mimic a lock. So that was really interesting. And he says that he can nut with his Alphas, but it's just like not, like he's not made to do that. Like, oh, it's the butt. Anyway, do you really have to do that right now when I'm trying to film? Also, I want to point out in the very beginning, I didn't mention this, Leo, who is the beta, oh my god, I love Leo so much. This man, when his first night with Lola, the next morning she wakes up and sees that he's cooking waffles, and she goes, I don't own a waffle iron. He goes, but you do now. This man woke up and placed an order for not only a waffle iron, but like other kitchen utensils so he could make her waffles. Even bought groceries, like fresh strawberries and shit, just so he could feed her breakfast in bed after staying the night. I'm sorry, what? I will never find a man like that. I'm never gonna find a man who's like, I'm just gonna buy you a bunch of crabs in the morning. I can make, like, no, it's not happening. It's not happening, which is sad, but you know, it's fine. The sexual tension in this is nuts, especially when you read it from the guys' POV, because they like have always been attracted to her, but like they don't want to scare her away because she's so like terrified of alphas. And so like as the sexual tension is brewing, I'm like dying inside. I'm like, oh my god, everything is so palpable. And then like everything comes to like a culmination with when they all finally do it. I'm like, oh my god. It's like some of the best scenes I've ever read in this book. And the 5-way scene actually made sense. Like I could actually visualize and see how all 5 of them were together, and it made sense. Sometimes you read those kind of scenes where there's like multiple people involved and I'm like, this doesn't actually make sense. Also, I really wouldn't I feel like I called it a reverse harem sometimes, but it's really not a reverse harem. It's just a massive polyamorous relationship, to be flat out honest with you. Anyway, I need to go back because my lunch break is up in like 2 minutes, but yeah, see you guys later. Bye. Hi, okay, so I just finished the part 2. I know I didn't update you guys at all while I was reading it. That's because I read like the first 75% in one sitting, didn't stop to update you guys. Up until I just finished the last 25% just now. And up until that 75% mark, like I was enjoying this book, but I wasn't loving it as much as part 1. But then this last 25% of part 2, I was like, so good, it's so good. And there is this female alpha that comes into play in this book, and she's going to be, she's the main character for Bad Alpha, which is another book in this Sweetverse. So the Sweetverse is like 7 books, and I think 4 of them are written by Kathryn Moon and 3 of them are by someone else. I might check out the other ones by the other person, but I definitely want to like read all the ones by Kathryn Moon. But yeah, this one was so good. I loved it. I loved her getting her bonds with everyone, and I loved just the way that she was. And like there's a scene at the end with her and Leo. And obviously like because she can't bond with him because they're both betas, but she can feel him through the bonds that they both share with their own alphas. And when she like gets that bite and is then like able to feel him through it, that moment, my heart, so cute. And I loved how much we got to see of like Baby and Herman. I will admit I am sad because like they were constantly saying throughout this, oh, we should have a dinner between our 2 families, but then like never did that. And I was really hoping to get like a fun pack thing, but that's okay. You guys need to read these books. Like, do read them in order because it's way more fun doing it that way. But if you're at all like hesitant about the Omegaverse and like kind of confused about it and don't know what to expect and thinking it's just gonna be like flat out weird erotica, it's not, which I was quite surprised about, and I really like dug it. And there's like always like these subplots overgoing it, and it was just so beautifully done, and I adored the shit out of it. Definitely do know I want to pick up Pack Darling because that is another Omegaverse series that seems really, really awesome. And then there's like Heat Haven or something like that, which also sounds like it could be really cool. Heat Haven is 129 pages. You know what? I'm gonna read Heat Haven for you guys. Dude, the page where like you'd say like this book is for my mum or for X, Y, or Z. The dedication for this one is to anyone who has had their battery operated boyfriend die at the most inopportune moment. I gotta highlight this. That is hilarious. Screw it, why not? Let's give you guys more Omegaverse smut. Okay, so I'm only like 16% in. I already love this. It is so cute and funny. So this is called Heat Haven, and Heat Haven is a place where Omegas can like go through their heats if they don't have a pack and like, you know, they need to get through it. And so the alphas and like betas and stuff like can buy memberships to it to participate in those heats. It sounds kind of sketchy, and like that's what the people have been saying in this. Like, is that kind of sketchy at first, but like it does make sense because like you're in danger otherwise, and like it's a safe place for the Omegas, and like people can find packs through it, and yada yada yada. So we have Emily and Griffin so far. Griffin is an alpha who has just got his membership to Heat Haven. He's on his orientation day. And Emily is an Omega who has just joined Heat Haven as an Omega, and this is also her day where she's like picking her nest. And they end up getting stuck in the elevator together, and it is so cute.
Oh, they're adorable. She's so cute. She's Southern and he's like from, there's a set in Boston. Oh my god, it's adorable. I'm loving it. They're so cute because he's like doing dirty talk and she's like trying to like nut, but she's like hella attracted to him. So like her scent is like, her perfume is like everywhere. It's so cute. I'm dying right now. Was not expecting this. I have like 130 pages. You never really know what you're going to get, but 60% in, love it. So bonus. Okay, so I just finished Heat Haven. It was so good. I'm actually quite sad that like it ended because I feel like there's so much more potential for what you could have done there, because the next book in this like series is just like it follows another like person thing, which is so sad because like I wanted more from these people, especially more from like Griffin and Emily is so cute. And then another guy named Dion came into it and it was really, really good. I'm actually surprised they managed to pack so much like into those 130 pages because there was like a depth and connection between the two characters and everything like that. And then Dion was really cool and like I vibed with him quite instantly. So very different from everything else. I do think that like if you're looking for something with like, a little bit more plot, like maybe don't, like I wouldn't start with this for Omegaverse. I do think that Baby is the best place to start for Omegaverse, but if you do read Omegaverse and you want something new to try, this was a really good one, really short and sweet. If I had to rate everything I read, I would say Lola and the Millionaires Part 1 is an easy 5 stars. Part 2 would be like 4.5 stars. Baby, honestly, the more I've sat with it is like an easy 4.5 stars. And then this one here was a 4 star. So they were all super, super solid reads. I freaking love them. Honestly, maybe Baby is a 5. Baby, for me, the problem with Baby is that like it was at times like it's so much more like sexually driven compared to the other like Lola's story. But I just love her and her pack so much, and it's just like, how can I not? So I'll probably rate everything 5 stars on Goodreads regardless because I love them. Heat Haven would a 4, but you know. Anyway, I'm gonna end this vlog here. If you guys have any Omegaverse recommendations for me, I'd really, really appreciate them because I definitely want to read more, but I don't know really which other ones to trust or like anyone else who has recommendations, even if they're like Wattpad-y things. Like I don't really read a lot of those kind of stuff, but I know that a lot of people do, and like that's where a lot of Omegaverse is. So please do let me know because I'm always open to hear about more of them. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please go to my channel. And until next time, thanks so much everyone. Bye bye.